Good morning. We're going to finish up 5.nbt.3. So on the last video, we ended up finishing 1 and 2. So now we're going to start with 3. So 3 is in the middle flap right here. So if you'll make sure your brochure is open to the 3rd flap. Okay, we are looking at number 3. Use the hundreds chart to help you round 0.39 to the nearest tenth. This is a hundreds chart. And what I would like to do is I would like to color in 0.39. So take a moment and color in 0.39. This is what it should look like after 0.39 is shaded in. So looking at this, the nearest tenth would be a 1 whole column. So what would you round that one to? Take a moment and choose the best answer. Okay, question number 4. Round the following numbers to the nearest hundredth. The first thing we have to do is look at where the hundredths place is. So right here is your tenths, this is your hundredths, and this is your thousandths place. So find the nearest hundredth place, find the place, look next door, 5 or bigger, add 1 more, 4 or smaller, just ignore. This is 4 or smaller, so I'm basically just going to ignore this or shut the door. So this one is going to be rounded to 5.16. Same thing, do it here. Find the place, look next door. 5 or bigger, add 1 more. 4 or smaller, just ignore. So take a moment and type into the computer what you think the answer is. And then also do this one, find the place, look next door. 5 or bigger, add 1 more. 4 or smaller, just ignore. So once again, take a moment, type it into the computer, into Edpuzzle here. And the computer is going to end up giving you the correct answer. So we're going to move on to question number 5. Looking at the table below, select the whole number that the decimal will round to. So take a moment and think about what this number here, is it closer to 7 or is it closer to 8? Think about this one, is it closer to 7 or is it closer to 8? Is it closer to 7 or is it closer to 8? Is it closer to 7 or is it closer to 8? So take a moment, fill that in. You'll notice that the answers here are now marked, that the first 2 are closer to 7 and the last 2 are closer to 8. Question number 6. Which document completes the sentence below? Blank rounded to the nearest hundredth is 2.72. So they took the hundreds place and they rounded it. So here's your hundreds place. I'm going to circle all my hundreds place. And I'm going to look at my options, and then I'm going to choose either A, B, C, or D. So take a moment, figure out which one that you would use that would round to the nearest hundred. Make sure you put it into your Edpuzzle. And you should have C as your answer. Okay, flipping over to the middle flap. So we're going to put it right here. Round the original numbers to the nearest tenth, whole number, tenth, and hundredth. Nearest hundredth. So take a moment. You should all be able to do whole numbers. And it's going to ask you on the side to have them done. For rounding to the nearest whole number, you'll notice that 5, 6, and 6. Take another moment to round to the nearest tenth. You'll notice that I've finished and rounded to the nearest tenth, and it should be 5.3, 5.8, and 5.8. Take another minute and round to the nearest hundredth. You'll notice that rounding to the nearest hundredth, this is 5.33. This is 5.76, and this is 5.85. Please make sure that you have those answers correct. You should have been typing them in to Edpuzzle to begin with, but please make sure you have those answers correct. Okay, moving on to the back. Question number 10. It says, the numbers that were rounded to the nearest tenth and hundredth are missing. Complete the table that shows the numbers that should have been the originals. So here's our tenths, and here's our hundredths. So I have to find the original number that if I would have had, I could have rounded it. So take a moment and try to figure those out. I think the key here is to look at this column right here. You already know the whole number. It's given in every single spot. You already know the tenth. It's given on this spot. And here, it's this number here that could be determined. So take a moment. We'll try the first one together. So we know the original number has a 2.6 in it. Now if it's rounded to the nearest hundredth, so they looked here and they found the place and looked next door. 5 or bigger, add 1 more. 4 or smaller, just ignore. It could be a couple different things. It could be, this could have been a 3, 2, because when you round it out over, it still stayed a 3. It could be a 3, 1. It could be a 3, 4. It could be a 3, 5. It could be a 2, 6. It could be a lot of different things, but that's just an option there. Looking at this one right here, we know the whole number is 5. We know it has a 4. We know it has a 7. And it could be anywhere over here that would round to this. It has to be less than 7, correct? So therefore, it could be 7, 3. Because if I look next door, if I'm bigger, that number would go there. If I rounded to the nearest tenth, it would go here. And so that could be anywhere in my original numbers. And then the last one, we know it starts with a 3. It starts with an 8. And it starts with a 5. And once again, it can be anything between 1 and 4. And I'm going to pick 4. That one can be any different numbers. It can be a variety of different combinations, but those are just some combinations we have. And then the very last one here, select the numbers that will round to 8.4 when rounded to the nearest tenth. So I'm going to give you a moment to figure out that, and Edpuzzle will let you know if you're correct or not. So please make sure that you have the correct answers. Don't forget to put this in the sheet protector when you are done.